morning, everyone. I'm excited today. Yesterday did turn out pretty good. What I did yesterday after work was work on the Skyrim board. You know, the one I was wood burning. It's almost done. So the whole map is burnt except for the outline of it. Like, since Skyrim's covered, at least on one side, in water, I want to fill it with burn marks around the whole thing to give it like a black backdrop to sit on. I don't want to do the whole thing, just an outline, but now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't have water on the bottom side, but I think I'll just put it there to make it uniform anyways. I don't know. I guess I didn't think about that. But once that's done, it's finally time to stain and seal it. Which is pretty exciting. I don't know if I'm going to use like a tea stain, because I heard about those and it might be cool to like make it look blotchy and old. Or use like multiple types of stain from the store or something. It's a thought too. What I am most excited for is after that, I was looking on Redbubble and Etsy to see what kind of things people make Skyrim related, and it gave me a lot of good ideas. So one of them was the guard shields, like how each hold has their own style of shield. Well, they're all the same style, but they have different looks, like symbols and whatnot on them. The metal around the edge of the shield I could do by just using like my plasma cutter, and the wood I have from that barn, you know, I could make those really easily. Like, that would be probably the easiest thing I could make. So I just cut the boards into a circular shape, combine those together, put the metal wrap on the outside, screw them in, paint the symbols on the front, and there I have shields, which those could be sold really easily, I think. Also, it would be, see, these three, I guess, would require a lot of fine work, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know if you use a Dremel on a lot of it, or how else you would make such fine cuts. So first is like soul gems. Those would be really cool, but they would have to be very smooth. I mean, if I nicked or damaged any of them, I would have to sand it out, like, for sure. Because those all look really smooth. If I did that, I don't know if those would have any real use other than, like, I don't know if people would ever buy those. Although everything I saw online was all like 3D printed. I might be like the only person that would be making wood ones. Also, the Nine Divines, their shrine statues, like the little ones that you pray to in the game, those would be really cool. But again, it would have to be Dremel, but I don't know what you use to cut out I guess like a Sawzall for the big blocks, and then fine work with the Dremel. It seems like you would run through so many materials with the Dremel, though. I need to look up like what tools are available. Oh, and the final thing, or at least that I remember, were the weapons, like the actual weapons. Again, if you draw like an outline, and then you cut out the big blocks and then sand that stuff down, Dremel details in, I bet you could make like actual like wooden replicas of those weapons. It would take so much work though. But honestly, if I got home from work and what I did was recreate Skyrim artifacts and weapons, that would be so cool. Especially if I can sell those to other nerds like me. Not to mention, they will be visible in the house. They will be. I'm not sure which swords I would want first if I were to do that. Daedric is not a chance. That shit is so spiky, and no way I would start there. Ebony looks like a fucked up stick. So in the game it's cool, but in real life people would say, what the hell is that thing? Honestly, the dwarven sword would be pretty sick, like a dwarven greatsword. Let's see, there's Elven, which is a pretty good choice. I should have said Dwemer, not whatever. Glass. Glass has some pretty cool stuff. Oh, dude, by far the coolest, the Dragonbone. Dragonbone sword would be absolutely sick. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So if we could make Dragonbone sword, that's where I'd want to start. The design is pretty simple. You know, if you go with the Elven or the Dwemer, you're gonna have the Elven one is like way detailed, and the Dwemer one has all like the bumps and very textured. Not to mention coloring would be pretty easy for the Dragonbone because it's like 2 colors, and it is bone color, which if you get the right kind of wood, you're already pretty close. And then just the hilt, which is, you know, a dark gray or black or something. There'd be something cool. I mean, if I didn't think I could make it, and I was just like looking and I saw a freaking decent priced wooden replica of a dragon bone sword from Skyrim, I'd be like copping that immediately. I guess there are a bunch of artifacts throughout Skyrim that can be made too, like the lexicon. I wouldn't care to have an actual Elder Scroll. Wouldn't matter. No interest. The Eyes of the Falmer. The Dragon Priest masks would be so cool, but so difficult to make. Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't feel confident to really do that for a while. And plus, it's like making a face, but it's not like drawing where you can erase. I mean, you take away from wood and it's gone. So, I guess hold off on that one too. That's a possibility. Of course, the staffs would be cool. Staffs would probably be a good foray into the swords because they're the same thing. They're like same process but easier. Well, depending on the staff. There's some pretty weird looking ones. But like what I'm imagining, this is so cool to me, is in the bog area of that back part of the house in the woods, having like a little tool barn where all my shit is, where I'm working on stuff, and every everything in there is just Skyrim replica, working on more Skyrim shit. I'm imagining, like, creating these things and, like, seeing all that around me and then just listening to whatever podcast or video I want to while I'm doing it. That sounds pretty awesome. I really want to do that, actually. So I didn't end up watching any carpentry videos yesterday. I kind of just looked at things that could be made related to Skyrim because I have an interest, like it's motivating to want to do that. But I do really need to do that, and I really need to just see what kind of tools I could use. I mean, I know I'd use like a planer. I would use Dremel, my Sawzall. I need to get a better Sawzall, honestly. Mine's not ideal. It just makes me want to really hurry up and get this map finished, because now that I'm thinking about these cool things, I'm starting to not care about the map. It's so interesting how quickly I get hungry in the morning when I spend the whole morning thinking and like being interested in talking about things, because your metabolic rate is really just increased when you're using your brain. Like when you drive to work and you're sleepy and you're not really thinking, you're just kind of trying to get there, and then you slowly start to wake up. I mean, you can stave off the hunger for a while, but like right now, the way I am, I'm gonna be hungry like hours before I would normally. Just because I'm like active. I mean, it's weird to think about, but using your brain to a significant amount actually does increase your caloric deficit by a lot. I mean, it uses energy. I don't remember the name of the guy that Jordan Harbinger was interviewing. Some chess master, grandmaster. Apparently, when he would do high-level games, he would lose like 10 pounds during this 1 week of just using so much mental energy. It was like a whole week where he would like do tournaments and stuff, and it wasn't stress, it was just using your brain. Really interesting. I'm starting to get in a pretty good little habit of being able to listen to Crowder live stream. I mean, I usually, hopefully, can get out on the road before 10, which is when it pops up, but it doesn't start for another 20, usually. At least that's how it's been the past couple days. So that gives me a lot of time to get out there. Now, if I'm not out there by then, it's just going to be a rough day. But again, I'm only going to be able to do that on routes that I know. Otherwise, I'm going to have to like really think about where to go next and whatnot. So 3 of the 4 routes, well, maybe even 4 of the 4, but definitely 3 of the 4 I can do that on. Now, when I go out of town, probably not. I wonder what other things I could make. What artifacts are there? Don't care about Azura's Star. Some of them are way too complex, too. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could make the necklaces, the amulets. I could do that, too. Those little praying shrines would be so cool. If I remember right, they can be pretty wild looking. But I bet I could sell those. And I wouldn't even have to have like a surplus. I would just make whatever I want and list them, and until they sell, I either have them in a box or I have the ones that I want on my counter. And every time I sell one, I make another one for myself and put it up for auction. And if it sells, I sell it and make myself a new one. Sounds pretty cool. I should get better each time I do it. Well, unless the first time I'm really meticulous, and then after that I stop caring. Assuming it stays the same difficulty, which it shouldn't, so it should get better. Oh gosh, what, 24 days? Oh, also, for some reason, D&D, the episode didn't come out today. So, usually it comes out at like midnight. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they forgot to post it, or I don't know. So, is it episode 87, 88? I don't remember. Yep, I'm getting to work on good time. Today is going to be a good day, fellas. There was kind of an ad yesterday. There wasn't one that was separate. It was mixed in with my letters, my DPS. So that maybe lowers the chance of there being a separate one today. Oh gosh. I don't know. Hopefully there's not one that really slows me down and it's frustrating, but we'll see. I will say, thinking about all this stuff last night and working on everything that I did, I really didn't feel like playing any games, which was a nice feeling. Sometimes that just feels like an addiction, you know? It just kind of sucks life right out of you sometimes. Some days it's so fun, but particularly Destiny, you feel like it's a crack habit. You kind of have to keep playing in order to keep up. You know, so if you don't feel like you're missing out, but you don't really want to play, but you don't want to get behind your friends, that's just annoying. So I'm excited for this. I am almost to work, and I wonder when my phone's gonna run out of storage, but I'm almost to work, so I'm gonna have to get off here. But I hope you all have a great day, and hopefully tomorrow I have more I can share with you. See you later.